So there are days where you don't know what the night brings you, especially when you have children. Sleep is super important. And anyway, I didn't get much of it last night. And Bobby, I told him prior that we would film. And so here we are filming. It was a long night last night. But you know, some nights are just longer than others. Some nights you get a good night's sleep and some nights you don't. And when you have kids, you never know how, you know, the night's gonna turn out. And when I know that I'm going to work and I may not feel like top of my game, or even like take aside sleep, just any day where you're not motivated. A lot of like online coaches and all this stuff is like, you just fight through and you this and that. Like, I'm not the rah-rah person. That's just never been my style. Some days are just harder than others. But I use the motivation of a couple different things. One of the things I always think about is I will feel so much better about myself at the end of the day if I go give it everything I got. I equate that to things like an open house in my business. I've never done an open house and regretted it, even if no one comes in because I got work done. You never go to the gym and regret it. It may seem daunting. You may think I got the whole day ahead of me, oh my gosh. But I know the feeling of accomplishment, especially when you're at like 60, 70% and you go give it everything you got, because that mental side of I did the best I could. I didn't wimp out. I didn't make any excuses. And I think that that's a winner mentality. I think it's a winner mentality when you say, no matter what it is, I got to go do what I got to go do and what I'm responsible for. I also think too, I think about, you know, my wife as an example. She's with the kids 24/7 and she gets less sleep than anybody I know. And every single day she does a harder job than I do. And that is manage them, taking them to school, helping them with their homework, getting them to bed, all those things that are stuff that there's just no way I could do that. She's motivating in that way of, I walked in this morning and she's getting ready to go on the stair stepper in our room. And I'm like, wow, like, cause I know she got no sleep last night either. And so there's this like kind of thing where, you know, I need to do my part, and my part is to be here and run the business. And so I just look at other things that say, hey, look, if you're not feeling it 100%, just think about other things. Don't think about not feeling 100%. Think about how great you'll feel when the day's over with and you can go get a good night's sleep, hopefully the next night, but like get through it and think about like the end in mind, right? I think it was Stephen Covey that was always talking about like the 7 habits of highly effective people is they start with the end in mind. And I even think in business too, like when we talk about projects and when we start road mapping things out, it's always what's the ultimate goal? And you work backwards from that ultimate goal. If the ultimate goal is to create a new workflow, for example, okay, great. If the ultimate goal is to have a new workflow, who are the people responsible for the project? How many layers are to the project? How many phases? When is version 1 of the project due? When's version 2 due? You just work your way backwards into where, like it used to be, you can just do things quickly. You know, the bigger you get as an organization, the more that things take time and you got to pull people in and everyone's always working on projects. And so, but it's always working with, this is where we want to get to. What I've also learned as well too, and that is good is better than perfect. If you can release good, you can then iterate on good. If you wait till perfect, it'll never be, and you're still gonna make changes anyway. So just things with experience, I think that you learn. I know that there's gonna be days that you're not 100%, but you're giving it everything you can, and that to me says a lot. It says that you're willing to go do the work. You're still willing to push yourself. You're still willing to say no excuses. I think that's what it comes down to, is there's just no excuses. And again, I go back to anybody in business, those that have this mindset of not necessarily being relentless, but those that have the mindset of, I have a responsibility. I have a responsibility to my family. I have a responsibility to the people that work for me. I have a responsibility to all of our agents across the country, the 1,200 plus that there are. And that responsibility is every single day I go to work and I try to do the best I can for the greater good. And then even for our partnerships and making sure that we're performing for them and we're doing the best that we can do for them as well too. You know, you can't accomplish that sitting at home. I can at least. I accomplish that by coming in here, doing what I'm supposed to do, following the calendar, and making sure that there's accountability going on each and every day. And then I'm doing the best that I can do each and every day.